Hey guys, CG Inferno here today, and today we are reviewing Digimon Story Time Stranger, which is the latest entry to the Digimon series. Do apologize for my voice sounds a bit muffly and everything. I literally just woke up not too long ago, but I need to get this done before embargo. But yeah, Digimon it's gonna be an interesting review. This one might be a bit longer than usual, but I'll try keep it somewhat short to an extent. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna go over the story a bit, the side questing in it, the gameplay, so like the battle system, the evolution system, the difficulty, the Digifarm, performance and graphics because it was played on PC, the voice acting as well, and then like my overall thoughts on the game and whether or not you should buy it now or wait for sale. So, just gonna jump straight into it. The story for Digimon Story Time Stranger is what you expected, mainly to be about time travel and essentially trying to save the future from a catastrophe, more or less. So it's nothing too special, nothing too crazy, but how it leads up to all the events, you know, there are some good parts, some parts that definitely drag along in the story, and for the most part I'd say I've enjoyed the story, although to be fair, I feel like, as I said, some parts definitely drag on. I don't know why they drag on. Some of them even like feel like what fetch quest for the main story, which is kind of crazy to think about because you expect that in like side quest and stuff, but not for the main quest. Like that one there, I just feel like it's just unnecessary padding. But you know, I enjoyed the story for what it was. They definitely done a good job for the most part. I'm not gonna go dive too much into the like story deals on like what happens here and there and stuff. Obviously it's spoilers, and you know, I would rather people somewhat enjoy it when they play it or watch it on YouTube, whichever they prefer, more or less in this day and age. But yeah, story's pretty decent. For side questing in the game, I actually found that quite enjoyable for the most part. Now, bearing in mind, side quests are hardly voiced. I think there's like the odd voice here or there sometimes, but some of these side quests have like their own storylines, so like there's like continuations when you progress through the story as well, which is always nice to do. I'm not too sure if side quests are missable in the game, mainly because obviously when you reach certain parts of the story you can't really go back until a bit later on and you progress later, but usually I just do the side questing as soon as it appears, and literally like you can do it then. There's not like a thing where you have to come back super late to get it done. Obviously maybe one of them you might have to, but from what I've played and what I've done, that has not been the case. But yeah, the side questing has actually been pretty fun with some of the Digimons that you interact with, so I was pleasantly surprised with that as well. Now, to add on to the story section, you have a mini game which is like a card mini game, just okay at best, I would say. So essentially you go around collecting cards from either buying it from the shops or that you see like throughout the towns and places you visit in Digimon, or from the NPCs that you get to face, and obviously you can rematch them again to try and get like different cards and stuff as well, just to collect. Now, from the top of my head, I think there's like almost 500. I think the number is like 496 cards to collect, which is kind of nuts. But in a game like this, where there's a fair amount to do, yeah, you don't have to rush it. It's still there. But the the game itself, the card game itself, wasn't too great. Like I was expecting something a bit more, but essentially, literally, you don't even have to like think about what you're gonna do. Obviously, there's like certain benefits to using some cards. Bearing in mind, you only start with 5 and your enemy starts with 5 as well, and there's a chance obviously you can summon more cards depending on like what you draw. But yeah, it's literally you just place your card and hope for the best, which kind of shocks me. I thought there would be a bit more to it, but it's not. It's just there, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess I just don't really have to care for this, you know, I can just do whatever. And one bad thing about it, I would say, is that you can't even like create your own deck or something. Literally, you just go into the match and the game will just select 5 random cards for your inventory to go and use, which probably like the worst idea ever, you know. Like obviously if there was a bit more to this, I would have assumed they would have allowed us to make our own decks and stuff, but considering it's literally here's 5 cards, play your cards, win by 3 or more, and then you get to like select 2 cards from what your enemy had or whatever, and that is literally it. But yeah, that one there, I felt they definitely fumbled. I think there's no reason to have it if it's just randomly placing cards and like hoping for the best. Now, apart from the story, I think the gameplay is what most people are going to be intrigued about. Now, there was one Digimon game that I played, I can't remember the name of it, but it was essentially a visual novel game, and I felt so hurt playing that I stopped playing it because I felt, nah, this is not doing it justice, man. Like, some people might have enjoyed it, but for me, I was not enjoying it at all. But this one, obviously, you know, you've seen the gameplays and stuff, there's a demo for it and everything, but essentially full-on RPG, turn-based as well, which a lot of people still love to this day and age. I still enjoy it for the most part as well. So I feel like I'm definitely leaning onto the action side a bit more as I grow older, but hey, that's just life, I guess. Anyway, the battle system itself is pretty easy to understand. It's your usual turn-based, although you have your weaknesses and advantages and everything, and disadvantages as well. So the Digimon that you have, there's like 3 main types that have advantages all over each other, that they'll explain that at the beginning. And then you have another set of 4 types that are on the side. Usually those types are for specific Digimon, usually the ones that are like in their pre-evolution, like the chibi forms, I would call them, or somewhat rookie forms as well. But yeah, you'll see that for most of the smaller Digimons, they don't really have a weakness per se, they're just there for the most part. But yeah, you'll mainly focus on the main 3 ones, and then obviously if you have an advantage to one of them, obviously you do more damage, and then you have your elemental weaknesses, I should say, as well. And then you also have a thing like a virus, which I'm not too sure how that one works. I've only seen it a handful of times, where instead of me doing like 300% damage to enemy, I'm doing like 450. So I guess it just depends on the enemy as well, right? But ideally, you're just going to be mainly focused on their weakness for, you know, what type they are and what elemental weakness they're there to as well. Now, the evolution system is probably like one of the best I've ever seen in a long while. Because I know Digimon is very, very, very big when it comes to its evolutions, right? Now, bearing in mind, I'm not the biggest Digimon fan at all, but I've seen my fair share, right? And this game has a ton of Digimon to actually use or collect if you're onto that as well, which I'm trying to do, but it does take some time. I have seen some people do it in the demo where they've grinded the hell out of it. I do not know how they've done it, but that is some sheer dedication, you know. Like I farmed like a tiny bit and I called it a day. I said, yeah, that's enough. But yeah, this game has a lot. You do have the champions as well. You get that very late into the game. Obviously your agent rank needs to be of a certain rank to get it. How you get these agent rank points is either doing the side questing or main story. So you're going to get a fair amount of it from side questing, so ideally you do want to do the side quests just to get it done. But yeah, the evolutions are good because this one you actually get to select which ones you want. Obviously it depends on the stats that you have for the current Digimon, so sometimes if you want it to go to a certain path, you need a certain amount of attack, a certain amount of defense, a certain amount of HP, might be a different personality as well. Obviously you can de-digivolve them as well in case you want to go back to a different evolution. So like there's many combinations you can do, which is quite nice, you know. It doesn't really restrict you on what to use and stuff, but at some point in the game, you know, you're gonna have the Digimons that you've pretty much poured a fair amount of time into, and you're like, yeah, this can carry me throughout most of the game, which is what I've done. Obviously I still collect new ones here and there, and if they are good, then yeah, I'll swap them in. But you know, for the most part, yeah, the evolution system is like probably one of the best I've ever done. Very expensive as well. That kind of ties into difficulty in the game. So difficulty is honestly probably very easy, right? I'm very surprised with that. So I started off on balanced, right? Cause I was just like, you know what, I'll just play on balance. go through a nice time. But then as I was playing it like in the early stages, I was like, bro, this is pretty easy, you know, like to the point where I was just auto battling for like all the mobs and stuff. And then I was like, you know, okay, let me change it to hard. So it's like basically where I changed it to hard was just after where the demo ends, like there's a boss fight there when you continue. I changed it there, and still the game was easy, which is pretty much a disappointment. I don't expect it to be absurdly hard or anything, but I'm expecting some sort of challenge. Like the only challenge I got from playing hard was like one of the bosses like way late down the game, down the line. But even then, it wasn't that bad. It's just like slightly poor planning on my part because I didn't know what I was expecting from that boss, you know. But yeah, for the most part, it's very simple. Obviously, you have the mega and mega plus difficulties, which I assume is new game plus. I haven't finished it just yet. I'm like near the end of the game, so maybe that could improve it. But I feel when you're doing new game plus and you have everything, then it just doesn't become hard at all. Like literally, you can just steamroll through everything. But yeah, that's another thing. It's just that there is auto battle in the game, so you know if you play Honkai Star Rail, that's probably like a given for like everything. For me, even playing that game Honkai, I auto everything, even like the end game, except for the new one. I haven't tried that one yet, but yeah, essentially this one, you're gonna probably be using auto, especially when you're just going through like trash mobs as well, because it's just like, what's the point of importing your commands? Obviously, if you want to have that freedom to do it yourself, by all means, but it is there to be used. You can also speed up the battle as well, so it can go even faster. I guess the one slightly downside to it is that when you go into a boss fight, it still carries on from your auto sometimes. So yeah, you might have to be a bit careful on that one, you know. But yeah, difficulty definitely could have been tuned better, because at the moment it's very simple, very simple, you know. Now in terms of Digimon, there is a place called Digifarm where you can leave your excess Digimon to roam about, collect materials, gain some experience points and stuff for their stats, which is quite nice because ideally you don't want to be always fighting mobs to do it, especially with you know your excess Digimon. Although to be fair, with the excess Digimon, like you have a box of 999, so it doesn't even really matter that much. But it's there to be used. Obviously you can customize the Digifarm to your liking, you know, you can put trees, you can put whatever in there. There's like plenty of items that you can buy to like spice it up and make it nice for your Digimon there as well. But to be honest, I didn't really use it. I didn't see the need to use it. Obviously it's good if you want to try like min-max the hell out of the game and like get the best Digimon possible, but for a single player game which is not too hard in the first place, yeah, I don't know, it's there to be used. But personally I just never bothered to use it because I just didn't see the need to use it. I'm like very content of how I am doing in the game right now, and yeah, I haven't had no trouble to the point where I need to sit and farm endlessly to get like specific stats or personality or stuff. So with the personalities, sometimes your Digimon can like pop up with a message and you can answer, and depending on your answer it will obviously change its personality as well. So do keep that in mind for some of the Digimon that you want to maybe go to like a different personality to go to a specific evolution as well. Yeah, the gameplay there is a lot to be done, a lot to do. The difficulty is not really a thing in the game, in my opinion, but for the most part I've enjoyed the whole gameplay aspect of the game. Now the performance and graphics for Digimon are good for the most part. So I played on PC, right, which is the only platform that has 60 FPS, which I did talk about in my impressions video a few weeks ago, and I saw a few of the comments and they're like, it don't matter man, 30 FPS is still good and all of that, which don't get me wrong, it is, but my question still stands is why could it have not been done on PS5 and Xbox? Those are more than capable consoles of pushing 60 for most games, I would say, in this day and age, right? Because we all know optimization's like out the window currently for like AAA games and all of that. But yeah, it still baffles me how it's not 60 on console. Like even on PS5 Pro, like at that point you're just thinking like, well, what really happened in like development for them to not be able to do it, you know? And surprisingly, you know, I wouldn't even be shocked if they say, yo, here's a 60 FPS patch like a few weeks or later or a few months later down the line. But then that's just like kind of a slap in the face of like, okay, why couldn't you do it like the first time, you know? But yeah, performance wise on PC, it runs really well. You have a fair amount of graphical options as well. There's no DLSS and all of that stuff, which to be honest I don't think is really needed for a game like this. But yeah, frame rate, I was playing on 144 Hz, so yeah, I just slapped it to 144 FPS, and yeah, it ran very smooth for the most part. Graphics wise, it was decent for the most part. Some parts definitely looked a bit rough, but you know, I've seen worse, right? But again, you know, if you want, I guess the best enjoyable moment to play it at is probably definitely PC, you know, because you have the frame rate options as well. And yeah, maybe in the future they could improve with it, but there's not much to be said. I've already said my thoughts on this on my impressions, but again, it's just, why is it not on console? You know, I think every platform should have, you know, the 60 FPS minimum, but again, we just have to wait and see on that part. Moving on from that, the voice acting in Digimon has surprisingly been good for the most part. Now, I played in English, and I know when people hear English, they're like, oh, here we go, English is shit and blah 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 and everything. And you know, okay, I can get it, sometimes it can be a bit bad, but I think this one they actually done a good job. The fact that the majority of the character, like literally everyone has a voice, all the Digimon have a voice, you know, they actually talk, well, most of them talking like this main story and stuff, and yeah, like even like when they're saying their moves and stuff, I think they're pretty good as well. Obviously I never watched Digimon in Japanese or even played their games in Japanese for that matter, so I can't really talk on that front, but you know, maybe some of you guys might have done it beforehand. But yeah, usually when it comes to games, I just play in English. Now obviously if English is not an option, then yeah, I'll play in whatever language it is in, and I'll go through there. But yeah, for the most part, English is done quite well. Translations, for the most part, I haven't seen anything too noteworthy. I think everything is done well to an extent. I know that is been a hot topic for a minute now in this day and age, especially for like JRPGs and stuff. But yeah, I'd say for the most part they've done a good job on the voice acting, and kind of wish the main character that you pick talks as well, because obviously the other one that you don't pick is your operator, right? And they basically do all the talking for you. But yeah, you know, it would be nice if your actual character can talk as well. But hey ho, you can't win them all, I guess. But yeah, I don't really have too many complaints about the voice acting. They pretty much done, I say, yeah, they've done a good job on it, you know. So, you know, kudos to them for actually putting it through, because we know a certain company, won't name them, they refuse to do it for their title, and yeah, I don't know why they haven't done so. I genuinely do not know. I think it would actually be beneficial to them, but I guess they're just more about, you know, min-maxing and making the best money without, you know, doing the most for their games. But hey, at least Digimon can do it, so I'll give them points for that one. Well, that is pretty much it for my review for Digimon Story Time Stranger. Overall thoughts, very good game. Obviously it has its issues here and there. Definitely could be more challenging for the most part, mainly because the way they give you so much freedom in this game is ridiculous. You know, like you could easily farm one Digimon to have like probably like the best stats. You can just steamroll through the game, which I don't know if they thought that was intentional or not, but yeah, I think that might have been an oversight on their part. But yeah, overall been a good game, good voice acting, decent story. probably one of the best evolution systems for the Digimon series in a while. And yeah, you just got a fair amount to do in the game as well. You also have these outer dungeons as well, which I did kind of forget to mention earlier, but essentially they are like your small challenges that you get to do. Go and beat a boss at the end of it and you get some rewards. Now there's another 3 of them which are DLC, which are basically allow you to either farm EXP, farm money, or farm monsters as well, like endlessly. So obviously I can't access that because the game's not officially out, but yeah, it is there. You know, I don't know if you're going to use that, probably make the game super easy at that point as well, but maybe it might help to like fill out the field guide as well. But yeah, that's enough rambling for me. Now, should you buy the game or not? Now, considering its price point, it is a bit steep, especially if you go for like the ultimate edition. Like that one is ridiculously expensive in this day and age, but I still think it's worth getting. Overall, I'll give the game a 7.5 out of 10. Still a good game overall. Obviously it has its issues here and there, but yeah, if you're obviously a bit tight on money, then yeah, I'd say wait for a sale, or like like on a key website or something maybe. But yeah, I'll still recommend the game. It's definitely one of the good JRPGs that have come out this year. Surprisingly, they've done a very good job, minus the fact that on consoles you're limited to 30 FPS, but I know for some people they don't really care for that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's a bit of a long one. I didn't talk about everything else that I'll just make it insanely long as well, but I did give like a fair amount. So let me know what you guys think, what you like, what you disliked about the game, and I'll see you guys in the next video.